Hi all, thank you for taking the time to view my behavior support project. My project took place at Kenneth C. Hanrahan Middle School, which is located in Jennings School District in St. Louis, Missouri. A little bit about the school. The school is made up of 98% Black or African American students, 2% white or Caucasian. They have a total population of 226 students. Most of these students are on free and reduced lunch. The classroom that I spent my time in was a self-contained special education room. It was comprised of 10 African American students, 5 male and 5 female. To talk a little bit about appropriate behavior in my classroom, I believe appropriate behavior is acting in a way that respects all students' right to learn. I think this is the most important aspect of appropriate behavior. This means taking into account what helps and hinders the learning process. I also believe appropriate behavior varies between schools, classrooms, teachers, and students. It's important that appropriate classroom expectations are clearly outlined, defined, and modeled because students don't always know what appropriate behavior is or is not. It is up to teachers to teach them. Behaviorism, which is the umbrella that holds the stimulus response idea. This is the idea that behavior is observable and measurable and that it is a result of stimulus response associations. In the classroom, a punishment reward system is an effective way to reward appropriate behavior and punish inappropriate behavior. To talk specifically about the student that I worked with, Aaron was a 10-year-old male. He was in 5th grade. In terms of academic functioning, Aaron operated on a 1st grade math and writing level and a 2nd grade reading level. Aaron had both behavioral and academic IEP goals. He had Down syndrome. He also had an extremely strong familial support system. Some of his strengths include his great sense of humor and his affection for animals. Some challenges for Aaron are his daily living skills, specifically toileting, and his social interactions with peers. The target behavior that I chose to focus my project on takes place during reading instruction when Aaron makes loud, inappropriate sounds and gestures. My hypothesis is that Aaron acts inappropriately during reading instruction to gain the attention of his peers. To test my hypothesis, I first worked with the antecedent behavior consequence chart. The antecedent behavior consequence chart, or the ABC chart, allows us to see when the behaviors are taking place and what they look like. For example, Mrs. K, my mentor teacher, explains the lesson for today. This is the antecedent in this case. Aaron stands up and makes a loud, inappropriate sound. There is our target behavior. The students laugh, and Mrs. K redirects the class, which is the consequence. I also use the Motivation Assessment Scale, which is a questionnaire designed to identify those situations where an individual is likely to behave in specific ways. The scale ranges from 0 or never to 6 or always. Situations where Aaron's behaviors were likely to occur were often following a request to perform a difficult task. Then I implemented the competing behavior pathways, and what this does is it tells us what's happening before the behavior occurs. In this case, the setting event was his bus ride into school. The antecedent is the direct instruction he receives for reading. The problem behavior is making inappropriate sounds, and the consequence is the laughter of his peers. Let's talk a little bit about Aaron's replacement behavior. What is a replacement behavior? A replacement behavior is a behavior other than the target behavior which satisfies the student's goal in an appropriate way. Instead of making inappropriate sounds to get student attention, I suggest Aaron raise his hand to comment or ask a question and to get the attention of his peers in a constructive and appropriate way. The challenge with this replacement behavior is ensuring Aaron feels confident enough to raise his hand and to contribute. To begin, the teacher should ask Aaron specific questions that he will know how to answer, which will provide a scaffold for Aaron. According to my data and observations, peer attention is Aaron's greatest motivating factor. Mrs. K and I will measure Aaron's disruptive behavior by using a frequency recording form. This will give us information about how many times the unwanted behavior is occurring during reading instruction. The first intervention we will use to increase positive replacement behavior is rewarding Aaron with student compliments. According to the National Association of Special Education Teachers, positive peer reporting is a clever class-wide intervention strategy that was designed to address the socially rejected child who disrupts the class by seeking negative attention. So the main idea of this strategy is that students will give positive attention to one another, which is a replacement behavior for negative attention. Here's how it works. The first step is to decide on a class reward, whether it be free time, a field trip, class party, etc. Then decide how many points the class must earn to reach the reward. Next, you choose the students who are the most socially rejected, which would be Aaron in this case, and be sure to include them as regulars to be praised each day. The teacher will teach students to praise one another by setting aside time to review examples of praise and how important it is, posting posters on the classroom wall, modeling examples, and using social stories are great strategies to teach students about praise. After, students will have an understanding of what compliments are and when and how to use them. We will announce that students have the chance to earn their class reward. At the start of each day, the teacher will announce the names of 3 to 5 students. For each student, we will ask for volunteers to raise their hands to offer praise about that person. If the student provides appropriate, kind compliments, the entire class gets a point. Finally, we will tally the number of compliments and post progress for the class to view. In addition to this being a replacement behavior for Aaron, this is also a great way to boost his low confidence and self-esteem. So the positive attention is going to replace the negative attention. A second empirically based intervention that can be used to increase the positive replacement behavior is a behavior contract. A behavior contract is a written contract agreed upon by the teacher, student, and parent specifying an appropriate behavior and motivating reinforcer that the student may earn when he displays the behavior. Aaron, Mrs. K, and the teacher will sign a contract that states Aaron will not make inappropriate sounds during reading instruction. If he achieves his goal for a school week, he will choose an item from the class treasure box. The following is my data chart, which began on September 9th. This is my frequency recording. As you can see, I recorded the number of incidents that occurred during our direct reading instruction time. The greatest number of incidents was 9 on September 9th, and the least number of incidents came on September 18th, which was 2. So to talk about what worked and what didn't work, one thing that worked very well was that this was a very simple plan to implement, the positive peer reporting, and it was beneficial for the entire class. I have to add that due to time constraints, I was unable to implement the entire plan, and I received the results from the mentor teacher who is actually still implementing the plan. So something that didn't work was that the peer reporting occurred only at the classroom level versus school-wide. A lot of behavior support systems seem to work really well when they're implemented throughout the whole school. That increases the consistency, which is fantastic. So overall, I would recommend that Mrs. K, my mentor teacher, continue with positive peer reporting for Aaron. It's had a positive impact, and it's had a positive impact for the other students in the class as well.